WQAQ Springfest is coming to the Burcon Court this Saturday, with doors opening at 3 p.m.
Wesley University is only 17 miles away from the Quinnipiac campus. We talked to students who expressed their fear about this drug making its way to Hamden.
Quinnipiac University's Student Programming Board announced on Monday that Jason Derulo would be headlining the Wake the Giants spring concert. Last night, Bob Simon, longtime 60 Minutes correspondent, died in a car crash in New York City. Yes, that's true, ladies. One Directioners are in a frenzy over the recent announcement that one of their members is leaving the British boy band. Over the weekend, 12 students were hospitalized at Wesley University for a possible drug overdose after taking the drug Molly. Molly is an illegal synthetic drug often taken during raves or dance parties to keep the user awake and stimulated.
I guess when people have it, a lot of people on campus will do it, and if it's like a single weekend type deal. So this weekend, I guess, someone got a shipment of it in, and it was very prevalent on campus.
Wesley University is only 17 miles away from the Quinnipiac campus. We talked to students who expressed their fear about this drug making its way to Hamden.
I think that it was probably, if I had to say, from New Haven or Hartford, so it could easily trickle into our community over here. So kids should definitely be safe and not mess around with that.
One of the biggest problems seen with Molly is that every batch is different.
I mean, it's not like Walmart where like you get Molly, it's be the same every time. People tweak with it, they mess with it. And honestly, when they mess with it, that's when it becomes more dangerous.
Especially with Molly, you don't know what it's cut with or what people lace it with. So I think this event definitely illustrated how dangerous that could be.
Molly does not seem to have a huge presence on Quinnipiac's campus, but students still have concerns for their friends who use the drug.
I don't think it's necessarily one of the biggest fears or threats to our school, but it definitely, some people use it, so they need to be careful.
With Wesleyan's campus being so close to Quinnipiac, students should be aware of the harsh realities of taking this mysterious drug. I'm Isabella Roman, QNN News. The first case of Ebola was reported in Dallas, Texas on September 30th. Within 2 weeks of the diagnosis, 2 nurses who treated the patient also contracted Ebola. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention reported that there was a breach in protocol at the Texas hospital. To prevent future accidents in hospitals, the CDC updated the recommendations for management of hospitalized patients with known or suspected Ebola virus. Quinnipiac University decided to hold a workshop for its students studying all health science professions to reinforce the basic safety precautions in handling contagious diseases. The workshop coincidentally came days after a patient was admitted to the Yale New Haven Hospital with Ebola symptoms. Dr. Jean Lang is the Dean of the School of Nursing at Quinnipiac.
Thursday morning, when I went in to teach my class, one of the students had just arrived, one of my doctoral students, and was in the Yale New Haven system, and internally they send alerts. And she came in and told everybody that they had received an alert of a possible case of Ebola at Yale.
Nicholas Nickerson is a professor of nursing research.
Every student went to 2 different sort of activities, if you will. The first was to view a video reviewing how to put on personal protective equipment, which would include gloves and a gown, and how to take them off. Then after that, they went to designated locations throughout the Center for Medicine, Nursing, and Health Sciences to actually practice what they just saw.
There have been many rumors surrounding Ebola and the way it could be contracted and spread.
I wanted them to understand the implications of Ebola, and that it really isn't something that everybody should be panicked about, but that as health professionals we need to have the latest information about things that are in the news, as this has been, because we get asked.
The fact that the disease potentially was suspected at Yale, I think that certainly put it on people's radar, and sort of, I think, prompted people to really say, are we prepared?
Yeah.
And how do we become prepared if we're not? But now that the information is out to all of our health and health-related students, we're hoping that now that fear will kind of be settled down.
I think students feel more educated for sure and more prepared. Like I said, it is something that is scary, and it's better to know more than not know what you're getting into. So I think a lot of students feel better about it.
The basic procedures reinforced in this workshop give hope to the public that another breach in protocol will never happen again. I'm Isabella Roman, Q30 News. For the homeless population, winter is their most dangerous season. The cold weather forces the homeless inside, but where do they go? The United Way of Greater New Haven is a nonprofit organization that provides funding to help the homeless get off the streets.
When the weather gets cold this early, it just makes it that much harder. Even if the shelters are open, it's a huge 0 to 60 race, right? To get them staffed appropriately, to make sure people know where to go, and when they can go where, and how they get in, and all those types of rules. We're facing a shortage. We're trying to do maybe more with less this year.
November 17th marked the opening of the overflow shelters in New Haven to manage the increased amount of homeless people.
The shelters that will open up generally, I think, like November to April or whatever that time frame is, those are seasonal shelters. So if you look at the homeless population as far as individuals who are in projects, the numbers are going to go up in the winter months just because there's more beds available. As a general rule in the state, most of our shelters are operating around 100% capacity all the time.
Soup kitchens are also a tool to help the homeless survive during the winter. But Lukman Abdus Salam, manager of the St. Anne's Soup Kitchen in Hamden, says donations have been low.
Recently, just last week, our pantry was bare. And what helps us out a lot is the local elementary schools, local high schools, local colleges. They all do food drives for us or whatever. And that's the only way that we're basically making it through this Thanksgiving.
If overflow shelters and soup kitchens are full, homeless people now have another option, called warming centers.
Plan, hopefully this year, resources depending, is to also open a warming center located in a convenient location downtown where people can go and not get a place to sleep, but overnight we'll have a warm seat, some coffee, some folks to talk to, and access to services if they need them.
St. Anne's and the United Way share the same goal, to not only get the homeless off the street, but into permanent housing.
You take someone who's chronically homeless and put them in permanent supportive housing. For the high users of services, so for the folks that move in and out of our emergency departments, our criminal justice systems, in-house stays at other institutions, we save $8,000 a year based on Connecticut dollars when we house that person and give them services rather than let them remain homeless. So not only is it what I think is the moral and humane thing to do, it's a cost saving to our system. I don't know what could make more sense than that.
In the long run, permanent housing will help the homeless people stay off the street. But for now, soup kitchens, overflow shelters, and warming centers will do. I'm Isabella Roman, Q30 News.